Welcome to the Bleep Bulimia podcast with author Fitz Koehler of You Supercharged. Hello, everyone. It's Floridian. I am the host of Bleep Bulimia, and today I have Fitz Koehler with me. She is a fitness expert, five-time author, and her latest book is You Supercharged. And she's also a host of a fitness show. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks, Lori. I'm glad to be with you and a bunch of listeners like us, right?
I'm telling you, we have listeners out there every week. So we're sending out a message. And I'm so glad that you're here to share that with us. So, with that, let's open up with tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I am a Floridian, live here in the Sunshine State. I'm a fitness expert. I've been teaching fitness since I turned 14, which is a unique twist in my story, right? Um, I'm a keynote speaker. I host the Fitness Show podcast. I'm a professional race announcer. So I go all around America announcing massive running events, which is very fun. I love, I love helping people become truly fit. I remember what it was like to be unfit or be confused about fitness and think the wrong things. And so being able to enlighten people how, simple, stupid fitness can actually be, make it understandable, attainable, and fun. I really have a high precedence on quality of life. And so, yeah, I love what I do. I'm a genuinely happy person. I've evolved along the way. There's these things where, we don't always right place. And for me, my major missteps were earlier on in life, and people have a misstep in their midlife, right? But yeah, I mean, life is good. And oh, I happen to have cancer about 6 years ago. That wasn't a lot of fun. So I went through about a year and a half of chemo, radiation surgery, blah, blah, blah. And thankfully, I'm about 6 years cancer free. And I love animals. There you go. That's what you need to know.
So, I just want to know a little bit more. So, you're all this fitness, and you did tell me that you had about bulimia. I always love my listeners who, because this is, bleep bulimia,
Yeah.
just a story of the recovery. I think that that will speak volumes to them. And then I want to also move on to your book. And I know we all have bleeps in life. Mine was 30 years of bulimia, and then now I've got 15 years of
I
coming it. Um, Hoping your story is way shorter when going through that because it's not fun.
No, it was not a lot of fun. No, I was a teenager in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where a swimsuit all the time was high priority. I was in a very athletic company, and we played sports. And to be honest with you, I was in very good shape. I had a older sister. I still have an older, she's 6 years older. She was mean as a snake. She's still mean as a snake. I mean, believe it or not, she's a full-fledged grown-up, and she's still so freaking mean. Just an evil heart. But I was a scrawny little toothpick at 8, and her mantra to me, because she was an elite soccer player, and so was my brother, she would say, "You're fat and you suck at soccer." And I wasn't fat and I wasn't great at soccer, but I was normal size. But that was her mantra. She just knew it would cut like a knife, and it did. So every day she'd walk by me, "You're fat and you suck at you fat at soccer." On occasion, she would mix things up by saying, "Be so tall. Boys are never going to date you. You're never going to wear high heels." I mean, live with that, right? And I was just a normal little kid. I don't think I was the most beautiful. I wasn't, hey, I just was a kid. And who cares what you look like when you're a kid, right? And so I was pretty tormented her. And so I do recall she would take me to like sometimes she had to do nice big sister things. My mom would say, "Take her with you." And I'm 10. And so hearing "you're fat and you soccer" all the time, I'd go to the beach, I'd have my swimsuit on, I'd wear a big t-shirt. And she'd say, "You look like an idiot. Take that t-shirt off." And I was, "Well, you told me I was fat. Why would I not cover up?" Right? Like it's a total mind F all the time, right? So I I hit the teenagers as everybody does, not everybody, but in middle school, a lot of us, our bodies start getting weird. I had ginormous boobs, and I probably had a little too much in my tummy and my hips, and we didn't really know how healthy eat. I mean, my mom, she did the best she could with the knowledge she had, right? So we always had, red meat and potatoes, butter with everything. There was always M&Ms in the fridge. My sister was always selling M&Ms for soccer. I mean, we just had access. So I was overeating and I was being sporty, but I was still overeating and my body was changing and my friends were cute and lean and fit. And I just didn't know how to do better. Now, interestingly enough, I started teaching fitness at 14. I had worked at a called Cinnabon in the mall at 14, and I go in the back and eat all the frosting. Golly, that was that wasn't good for me. But I that manager got mean, so I had started going to a gym because I'd hurt my knee playing, which apparently I wasn't very good at it, but I had surgery. A physical therapist said, you need to go and strength train or you'll re-injure it. So I joined the gym and really enjoyed that. And when my Cinnabon career came to an end, I applied at the gym and thankfully they hired me to start teaching classes. And so fitness became a big part of my life, but the eating habits weren't there. The good eating habits weren't there, right? Just the bad. And so I really wanted to be thinner and I didn't know how to do it the right way. And I knew anorexia wasn't a good choice for me because I wanted to eat. And so I thought, well, I'll just try to throw it up. And I started sticking my finger down my throat at about 15, I think. And it was brutal, mean thing to do to yourself. What a horrible, horrible experience. And I did it regularly through my freshman year in college. So I was full-fledged bulimic. Nobody knew. Nobody knew. It was just this thing I was able to pull off. And really, I wasn't even losing weight because I wasn't losing weight, right? It was just an act in punishment. It was just an act in pure stupidity and harm to myself and punishment and self-sabotage, the whole thing. And I just didn't better. I look back and I feel sad for teenage Fitz Koehler because I didn't know any better. I didn't have any help. And as many of us do, I made those bad choices, right? And I kept it a secret. And my sister still called me fat every day, so that was great. And I think this is where I started to change. So I got to the University of Florida as a freshman and still sticking my finger down my throat. And I joined an organization. I was teaching fitness on campus, and they recruited us to be a part of a student education group called SAVE, which is an acronym for Students, Attitudes, and Values of Eating. And the purpose of the group was to prevent eating disorders. I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And so I started going to dorms, lecturing other students on why they should not have an eating disorder, where I closeted bulimic myself. And I mean, you can't write it any better, right? I'm sure you've heard plenty of stories that are better, but still, this is where I was. I was lecturing others on the harms of eating disorders. And then finally, this was my breaking point. I was in my dorm in my freshman year, and I had a big hall, and there was communal bathrooms, some stalls, 4 showers, 4 sinks, the whole thing, and you'd have to go in there. And so people being kind of tricky in a communal bathroom. And so I remember one day the bathroom was just full and I had probably gorged on pizza or something and I wanted to throw up. So I threw up a can in my dormitory and it was clearly gross and particularly punishing. And so I had this epiphany and thank goodness light going off. But there was a girl in my dorm, my friend Missy was her name, and Missy was very overweight, and I loved her. Missy was so and sarcastic. I mean, she was a great friend. And so while I'm there puking in the garbage can, I thought of Missy, and this was honest to God my thought. I thought, well, if Missy gained weight, would I like her less? And I thought, no, I couldn't like her less. I love Missy all the way. And I thought, well, if Missy lost weight, would I like her more? And I thought, no, I wouldn't. Her weight is not my issue. It's not relevant to me. And that was my epiphany that, okay, I probably have similar values to other people where a nice person. I'm a fun friend. I teach fitness. I try hard to be kind and stuff. And I am not my hip, my stomach, or whether it's bigger than I want it to be, it doesn't impact other people. I don't need to do this to myself. I swear to you, it took about 3 minutes for me to go, enough. This makes no sense, and I need to stop doing this to myself. And that was the last time I put my finger through it. And so I thought about it. I definitely had to continue keeping myself, reminding myself that I shouldn't do those things, but I was able to convince myself not to do it anymore. And thank goodness I did. And so since then, I've learned, thankfully, to eat in a healthy way, not only for nutrition, so my body works in the right way, but I ended up losing the weight that I wanted to lose. I'm 40 something pounds heavier than I was in my fresh college. Kept it off in a very healthy way, and yeah, it's interesting. I've been very lean and healthy for a very long time, but I still have those visions of myself. Sometimes, like my husband has bought me a pair of pants on occasion. I look at them and I think, "You're crazy. I fit into these. I'm not a 6-year-old." And then I put them on and they fit. So I guess there's still some of that body dysmorphia where I don't really perceive myself as I am, but I don't harm anymore, which is pretty awesome. And then I'll put a cap on this and then we can have an actual conversation. But I had a friend in the dorm, or not in the dorm, in my sorority house. I actually lived in a sorority house the next year, and Julia was her name. She was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. She had those ringlet curls, and she was very curvy but healthy and just a perfect looking human. And she's always coming into my room every single day and saying, "Do I look fat? And fat in this, fat in this?" And I would say, "No, you're gorgeous. You look fine." And she'd come in, "Do I look fat in this?" And then all of a sudden I thought, "Oh my God, is it me?" I mean, that's what my mother taught me. She was always getting dressed and saying, "Do I look fat in this?" And so I had continued that habit too. And so finally, because I experienced Julia's terrible uh, habit, whatever we want to call it, to talk myself out of that too. So it's been a cycle of learning how not to berate myself and to respect the other qualities of myself that make me valuable while still striving for health. But yeah, so that's my story. I've been good ever since, I think.
I love what you were saying about if somebody either gained or lost weight, would you love them any less? I mean, I'll take my mother, for instance. She was like a little beanpole when she was younger, and now she's a heavier person. And funny enough, I remember when she first gained the weight because she had to quit smoking,
Okay.
because she was very sick, and she actually went from probably 122 to 140 very quickly, and it kind of shocked me a little bit as a kid because it was very quick. So there was a quick change to her, but it had nothing to do with the weight itself. It was just how she looked different. It's like,
Yeah.
mommy looks different.
Right.
But I look at her today and it's just, she's my mom. No matter what, it doesn't matter what they look like. You'd
Yeah.
love them no matter what. And yeah, I went through all of that too. Like, will I be loved more by my ex-husband? I remember once after being pregnant, I went up to 140 from 120 something, I don't remember. And then I said, I'm going to lose the 10 pounds. He goes, "Oh, then you're going to be perfect." Like, what is that?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
What is
what is
that?
that? Oh, then I'll be
Right.
perfect
Right.
because I'm not perfect at 140. I'm 5'9". 140 is not bad. And
No,
I
it's very
thought,
healthy.
wow, like so, yeah, my health got a lot better after I left. Let's put it that way.
Well, you know what? My health got a lot better after I moved, stopped living with my sister, man. I mean, what a
That's
mean person.
It's funny that you were saying that because I kind of chuckle because my oldest sister, I would say, well, yeah, no, yeah, I was laughing because my oldest sister is mean. She's really mean. And when I
Oh,
started my
really?
diet was because she was getting married. I was 16 and she told me I was overweight. I was 130 and I was
Jeez,
fit.
that's
I was
crazy.
like, I was doing cheerleading and all sorts of like sports and
Yeah.
everything. And she goes, you're 10 pounds overweight. And so she put me on a starvation diet because she wanted me to look good at her wedding. I'm
Yeah,
50.
you know what? It's just it's fascinating. And even doing what I do professionally, I could do this if I were 40 pounds heavier. I mean, people, all the information's in my head. My value is the knowledge that I provide to other people and the way I encourage them and boss them around and so forth. My hips don't really have any impact on other people. In fact, I've never in my life had somebody choose me exclusively based on my appearance. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's this other thing, but the way we feel that our appearance will impact others or our relationships. I mean, maybe to an extent, maybe you're in a romantic relationship with, but I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. Fitness can be perceived, construed as a vanity effort, right? And
Yes.
honestly, for some people, I if they exercise because they want to look great, because I think fine, you're exercising for one reason, but you're also getting the compounding benefits of your bones getting stronger and your resilience increasing and you're likely to get injured decreasing. There's all these great benefits, throughout my career, especially because I really was warped with my perception of my appearance that I always tell people like it doesn't matter to me what you look like in a swimsuit. Like that's your deal. You can worry about that. What I want you to do is because I want your body to perform better, feel better. And if you want to look a certain way, great. I can help you get those goals, but health is different than whatever the Kardashians provide. And I'm not saying those girls are healthy. I'm sure they exercise. Good on them. But there's these weird standards that can we all just look the way we want to look when we're healthy and have that be enough? Like how unless we're contracted by Sports Illustrated to get on us in a swimsuit on their in their magazine, like what does it matter so much, right?
Well, it's kind of like what my dad said. If you're not going to be in the top 10% at university, don't spend all that time studying, socialize, because even when you get a job, socialization is a big part of being hired. If, it's
Yeah.
fine with the geeks at the top 10, they're probably going to find this little
Yeah.
cubicle somewhere, but don't do it. And I love that he said that because you're right. If you're not going to be in the top 10, why beat yourself up? Like, why push
That's
yourself?
right.
But I also love what you're doing because there's a big thing. Okay, so I'm 63 and I, there is a bit of osteoporosis in me. My mother
Yeah.
has it too. And what you're also doing for people and helping their training, the muscle is so important because
Oh yeah.
it protects the bones, right? A lot of people don't think that way. They don't think about that.
Well, as far as protective measures go, it would hopefully just prevent you from hitting the ground. If you're stronger, you're less likely to fall and good balance. However, the act of strength training actually builds bone density. And so our mothers, our grandmothers, osteopenia, osteoporosis, thanks to my cancer care, I actually have osteopenia already, which makes me quite angry. But, women were deterred from strength training. I remember when my sister was in high school, my mother, she wanted to take a weight training class. Mother says, over my dead body, you're not going to be a bodybuilder type thing. And she was like, I was just going to do a strength training class, right? So now women, hopefully most of us or many of us know better. And so the simple act of showing up at the gym, doing the machines, even if you have a gym where they put you on this line of repetitious machines, that will protect your bone density. That will prevent you from having fragility where our moms, our aunts, they trip, they fall once, fractured hip, they're gone in 3 days, or they've got black eye, broken teeth, and this cascading series of health issues because we weren't strength training. And so, out there specifically who are like leery of strength training because they have big, bulky muscles. Well, P.S. You won't. It's almost impossible for a woman to grow those big, bulky muscles unless they are very aggressively consuming a particular amount of food and a particular protein. You have to work really hard to become jacked up. If not, you become someone like me. I'm wearing a hoodie or a sweatshirt. So I'm a lean girl and I have muscles, but they're not big bulging because I'm not pumping them up with the nutrition. So your average woman can go to the gym or exercise at home, bodies, any sort of strength training works every other day, ideally. And when you're 70, when you're 80, when you're 90, you should still be sturdy and resilient. And if you do trip and fall, you won't shatter.
Yep. And that's important. And I do believe, like, I mean, a lot of where I call this midlife bulimia, a lot of the bulimics that are in midlife is something that is started in the early years. And so the nutrients and all of
Yeah.
that would have been taken away. So,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I really do believe fitness is important. And it doesn't have to be rigid, like you said, it's just
That's right.
consistent. Yeah.
Yeah, and here's the deal. I mean, for all of your listeners today, there are listeners who are struggling with their health. I want you to know that I'm sorry for the people in my industry that have bastardized the truth. They have been vultures, they've been snake oil salesmen, they have come after you and your money. And there, because of my history, there is nobody I'd like to pop in the mouth more than these scumbags. You know, anyone who's selling a diet pill or a powder or a weight loss shake, those people are liars. They are thieves. They are snake oil salesmen, and they are preying on you. Why? Because they know your greatest wish is to have a healthy body that you're proud of, right? And so they will sell you all the garbage. None of it works. None of it works. Now, when it comes to weight loss, there are some pharmaceuticals that are actually effective right now. They come with their risks and consequences. But as far as anything you quote unquote nutrition store or the garbage your neighbors are selling out of the trunk, like they have with these like Beachbody, whatever, all garbage, all not effective, all something you should never take part in. Diets are temporary measures that lead to temporary results. Diets traditionally require a ton of suffering, a ton of restriction, and a ton of frustration, which is why they're short measures because most people get sick of them and they quit and then they go back to their old terrible habits and then they gain weight, etc. So instead of turning to anything with the word diet, it's funny, there's a chapter in my book, it says, it's called Why Diets Are Dumb. And you think I've just been a little aggressive? Just wait. You read those pages. I unleash on these pieces of garbage because they deserve that. But what a healthy body really requires is number one, it requires healthy food. Food is fuel. Food is necessary. Food is not the enemy. And you certainly don't have to restrict any specific type of food. Now, are there foods that are healthy? Yes. Are there foods that are harmful? Yes, but in moderation, you could have a little bit of the harmful stuff without really doing so much harm. So, what I want you to do is 80 to 90% of your caloric budget each day, healthy. 10 to 20%, right? Whether you're going to have a beer or, I have a piece of milk chocolate every single day, or I consider it a sad day, right? But I don't have three candy bars. I just have a kiss or maybe three Hershey kisses or whatever's offered, right? But chocolate's important to me. Sometimes I have a couple of cheese, right? So whatever floats your boat. I don't really want to talk too much about weight loss right now, but if people want to learn how to manage their intake, it's about learning how to eat the right amount of the right for the size you want to be. You need calories. Calories are energy. Calories give you the ability to exercise and work and think clearly and be creative and be kind. If you're calorie deprived, you're going to be a raging a-hole. Nobody will want to be around you, right? What's the benefit of being a skinny jerk? There is no benefit, right? So you can read the exact formula on fitzness.com or, of course, in the new book, but really know that food is not the enemy. Starvation is the enemy. Fasting is the enemy. Even there's a diet out there called intermittent fasting, and these people think they're so smart. Oh my gosh. But no, it's really good. No, it's really not, because you know what? Humans already have a fast built into every single freaking day. It's called sleep. That's right. You're sleeping for 4, 7, 10 hours. You're not eating. You're fasting. And then when we wake up, we have da 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 breakfast. That's right. We break the fast because we were already fasting. You don't have to wake up kind of hungry and then wait another 4 hours to eat, because you wouldn't be driving 300 miles and say, well, I'll gas up. At the end, you need fuel to go. All of your days will start better. There's excess, and of course, we don't want anyone to be excess. There's gluttony, but food, you should have food. Food is important to your body. It's important to your mind. If you don't have food, everything will go to pot. And it's just, I don't need to beat the horse to death, but please eat food, right? And then let the nutrition go through your digestive system. Let your body absorb those nutrients, and then they can help you do great things. Now, when it comes to exercise, you don't have to be insane about exercise. You have a very healthy body now. I don't exercise more than an hour every day. And some days I don't exercise, right? I want you to do most days of the week. It's a 7-day week. Give me 4, 6 days of the week. If you want to take one day off, fine. Exercise should be something you enjoy. You should do a little bit of strength, a little bit of cardio, a little bit of flexibility, a little bit of balance. You mix those things up the way you like to. Ideally, you do exercises that you enjoy, right? So if you hate running, don't run. Fine. Go ride a bike or go swimming or go dancing. I just got to the ballroom dance lesson. I love that. It's fun for me. So I do it alone. I'm finally an adult income bracket where I was like, you know what? I'm going to treat myself to this once a week. I never thought I'd be a person with like a personal trainer person, but I do. I have a coach that I see once a week. And if my budget were less, I would go to the group classes once a week. But yeah, fitness should be enjoyable, not punishing, while still being challenging. And you can be very moderate, very reasonable, and still have wonderful results. In fact, the whole purpose of You Supercharged is to get people to visualize this best version of themselves. Like your best version might be different than mine, might be different than my brother's, right? So you come up with this great version of yourself, and then I give you healthy steps on how to get there. And if you just work to try to get 1% better every day, not 10, not 50% better every day, 1% better every day, within a month, all of a sudden you start to feel better and you notice it. In 4 months, you look in the mirror and you go, I didn't even know this was possible. A year from now, you're in the best shape of your life. So please be good to yourself. And really, healthy habits are the most generous thing you can do to your body.
I agree, and that was beautifully said.
Oh, thank you. I know I rant. I'm sorry.
No,
Blah,
I
blah,
mean, you're
blah.
so passionate about it, and it's very true. And that was one thing that I had to learn coming out of my bulimia, was that food was my friend, not my best
Yeah.
friend in the way that I was treating it. I was actually, bulimia actually was my best friend, not my food.
Oy.
So once you kick out the bulimia and you say, hey, no, food, friend, let's do this right. This thing here was doing it wrong.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
beautiful. It was a great feeling to be able to just, like you said, if I want some chocolate, I'm not a big chocolate person, but sometimes I'll have one. If I want a piece of pizza, I'm not a big pizza person, but sometimes I feel like it. Um, but I also found that as I was eating healthier and healthier, it just became my favorite foods anyway. So it's not
Yeah.
hard,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not a
Gosh,
hard
there's so
choice.
much good stuff in the healthy category.
Yeah.
Can you know what's so interesting is, can you imagine like your child or even your best friend saying, ate lunch, you should throw that up. Like you would never tell somebody to do that. You would never say, don't eat food. You would not, I mean, why we do this to ourselves?
Yep.
This, I just, I'll never understand. I'd never understand why I did it to myself. I mean, I do think I didn't know any better. And this is why I'll spend every day for the rest of my life trying to convince people to take on these simple, basic healthy habits, because, life is hard enough already without us torturing ourselves,
Right. Right.
right? Yeah, perhaps in that voice in our head to talk us up instead of put us down. When I was going through cancer care, it's funny you talk about your appearance. And normally, I think I'm a pretty like a looking person. I know I'm not Miss America, but I'm just fine, right? I was completely bald and I never wore a wig. I just chose not to. I had no eyelashes. I had no eyebrows. I was gray. I was terribly underweight. A lot of people gain weight with chemo. I lost a lot of weight. So I was, and it was awful. I mean, for all the days that I was skinny, I had that point where my mother said, you were in the Holocaust. You need to eat." And I was like, "I'm trying to eat." Just I was that worst version of myself. And to think people are doing that to themselves, like without the cancer, they're purposely putting themselves in those bad positions. With anorexia comes the hair loss, and I mean, there's so much. It's just it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. Know if you're out there and you're going through it, I love you. Lori Ann loves you. We care about you. You are so much more than your hips or your thighs or whatever is on your mind. You're this person who deserves love, and you start with yourself. And really, when I was sick, that it was that voice in my head that kept me going. Instead of, "Man, you've had it. You're done for," whatever. Kept saying, "No, you can do hard things. You can do better." On sick days in bed, I was doing leg lifts, not because I wanted to have hot legs. I just wanted to have some strength, right? So I was constantly encouraging myself from the inside. If I didn't do that, I don't think I would have survived that ordeal. And so maybe when unhealthy instincts kick in, you start being your own advocate. Like, "No, no, 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 girl or guy, you got this. You deserve food, for crying out loud. Yeah, you deserve to feel good. You deserve to go to bed without doing something mean to yourself. You deserve to go have fun. You deserve friends." If you can program that voice in your head to talk yourself up, man, you will be unstoppable. That really is the secret to success.
I love it. And so tell us a little bit about your book, where we can find it.
Yeah.
Just an overview. I'd love to know more about it.
Thank you. So, it's You Supercharged, the exact formula for fitness, weight loss, and longevity. If anybody is looking at the video version of this podcast, you see my cover. I'm very proud of. Boom, boom, boom. It's very fun and happy, but it's over 400 pages. There's over 300 instructional photos in there. So if you feel like I don't know how to exercise, it's in there. There's 34 chapters, and we start at why, to compel you to pursue fitness. And then, what do you want to be? Who do you want to be? You decide what your goals are. It's not for me to say you need to be this or that. You get a self-evaluation. You start with all the things you love about yourself, and then you get into things that you think you could improve on. Well, maybe your balance or your flexibility, or, do strength training to get rid of your back pain, or maybe you want big muscles, whatever. You can choose that for yourself. Supercharged nutrition. We talk all about food, all about the exact formula, which is weight loss, weight management, weight gain, depending on your goals. There's the everything exercise chapter, which is absolutely ginormous. It's the FIT principle, which is frequency, intensity, time, and type of exercise. So all the people say, "Well, I don't know how, when, how hard." I solve all that for you. And then again, with the instructional photos, it's not only how to work your chest in the gym or in your living room, but how to exercise in a chair, how to exercise in bed. And I know that because I needed that for a while. How to do stretches in the shower, how to do balance training. So it's all encompassing in there. And then, golly, raising fit families. You're breaking away from your family cultural. Sometimes people think overweight because my family's overweight. No, you're overweight because you adopted their crappy habits. You're not genetically overweight. You chose to continue being like them. So let's change that, right? We've got how to work workouts into your work days, healthy holiday hacks, high-tech health. There's a chapter, Full Throttle Femininity, dedicated to women. So I thought I was done with the book, and then women started saying, "Is there a chapter on menopause or perimenopause or this or that?" And I thought, oh, yeah, we needed a woman's chapter. And then we also needed a man's chapter, because men actually have menopause, which is their decrease in testosterone. I don't think the real world calls it menopause, but I do. And so there's a chapter for them. Even we discuss how they can make their pecker the most powerful pecker on the planet by doing Kegels and things like that. I mean, golly, it's an all-encompassing book. It's been referred to as the Bible of fitness, and that's really what I was aiming for, to give you an excuse-free existence moving forward, where you know everything you need to know. It's in layman's terms. It's fun. It's filled with tough love. I poke you in the chest and I let you know what a dummy you are sometimes. There's a chapter called Why Your Excuses Are Lame. And yeah, it's already being very well received. And I just love helping people. So this, out of all five of my books, this is the one where, in my dreams, every grown up has this book on their nightstand or in their backpack. And once you know better, you do better. Oh, and I even talk about eating disorders in there. I talk about bulimia and so forth. It's in there. So, yeah, I think it's the solution. And, as you've heard, I'm so anti-diet and anti-snake oil, and so many people have been manipulated by these lying liars who lie, that I strongly feel that if I could just get their attention for however long it takes them to read this book and they know better, they will never be taken advantage of again, and they will be more likely to take those steps forward. And, let's get to 80, let's get to 90, and don't just get there, but feel great and have quality of life and have some fun while you're there too.
I love it. Yeah, my mom's 90 and she's not very active. So, but
Mhm.
she could still drive, she could still get out. But I mean, after
Wow.
she passed away, she became a little bit just sit on the couch, cry, and on her phone
Yeah.
at 90.
Well, maybe we'll get your mom up and active too.
Get
Maybe
her
we
up and active.
supercharge your
That's what my
90.
daughter keeps
Why not?
saying, Mommy, you've got to get up, you got to get out, you've got to walk or to get active a little bit. But that's kind of hard, but I'm still, you
Keep
know,
on her.
I'm there. I'll tell you something, in my job, I do a lot of walking. And so every day I am up and down stairs walking around, and I thank God for that. I don't think I could ever have a job where I just sit at a computer all day. It
Yeah.
would drive me nuts. So I'm very blessed that I have one of those that's very active. Um, but yeah, so that gives me my exercise every day at work. So,
Well, I love that, but still have to do strength training and flexibility and balance training. And so while you're brushing your teeth, do it on one foot. Every time you brush your teeth, just stand
oh,
on one foot, and that will help with your balance. And you want to be good at facing imbalances. If you practice balance training, then you're less likely to fall down when you hit a slippery spot or an uneven surface. Stretching, gosh, if as a desk worker, right now, I'm stretching. You can do this. You can have a conversation and stretch your neck and your back and your legs. You can set an alarm on your phone to stand up every 50 minutes and stretch for 3 minutes. All of it adds up. And then, of course, strength training, if you have an intelligent plan and you go to an actual gym and do it, great, fantastic. However, strength training can also be done in your living room, in your backyard, on the stairwell. You can do some lunges or push-ups or dips or bicep curls, whatever it is. A simple band goes a long way. Or gravity. Gravity is golly. Push-ups. So that's you versus gravity. So even if you squeeze strength training into your day 1 minute at a time, you can make fantastic progress, not only for your muscles, but for those bones of yours.
love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here, Fitz. Obviously, your book is available on Amazon.
It sure is. It's wide distribution. If people want signed copies, you can come to fitzness.com. That's Fitz as in zebra, ness.com. When they come with a little free gift, you get a little Fitzy sticker, right? Poke you in the chest from the back of your phone or whatever. But yeah, Amazon has these books. It's in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. So whatever floats your boat, floats mine.
Perfect. And so if they want one that's signed, they go straight to you. I like that idea. I love signed copies of books. So
Yeah.
appreciate your
Yeah.
time.
And
Seriously, love your enthusiasm. And I love the sound of your book. In fact, I believe that I will probably be getting a hold of you just because I'm just feeling inspired to do a little bit more because yes, my arms need a little bit more work. My legs get a lot of workout, but and stuff.
mhm.
Um, but it's not for me, it's just to feel better. That for me, I am very comfortable in myself, but just because as we age, it's smarter to keep fit. Yeah.
Listen, 100% of us can
Yep.
do better and be better. There are no exceptions to this rule. 1% better for you and every single one of your listeners and every single person on earth. And I tell you what, we start doing that, start taking care of our bodies, our minds are going to be doing much better. We're going to be living in a nicer, more productive society all the way around. So, yeah, no exception to the rule. I'm talking to everybody. Get to work.
Thank you. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Lori.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Be sure to visit me at bleepbulimia.com.